So
Yeah,
that's
same here.
essentially just someone who um, helps new users or even newer people if they have experience in Protoflex. Uh, they go around, help things with basic stuff and uploading avatars, applying textures to avatars, adding.
Welcome to Metaverse Degen. I'm lying.
I'm Old Man Raptor, and we got one hell of a person today to talk to, and that is, if I don't screw that up.
Who are you?
I'm Shigure. Hi.
Oh, hello. Thank you for joining us, Shigure.
Mm,
It's a pleasure to meet you.
yes, very much so.
Oh, well, that's the meat and potatoes of it. What are you most known for? How'd you get started? What got you into VR?
Let's see. I actually first started my VR adventure in Neos. I A friend recommended me into the game. I went in, and it was one of the first games that I experienced acceptance as a desktop user, which uh, encouraged me to buy my first headset, Quest 2, and started from there. Um, I got myself involved into this um, card games world called Elysium,
Hmm.
owned by Solutions. I was there for many years. That's where a lot of people will probably have first met me. And recently, after the whole transfer gotten into Resonite, um, I am now part of the Grand Oasis, and I am an event host for our karaoke events.
Ah,
Nice.
oh, well, I guess I have a couple of questions, first of which, what is the Grand Oasis?
The Grand Oasis is a group in Resonite to kind of help bring people together and have a get people together that enjoy similar things. We don't only do karaoke; we also have tabletop game night. We have we have someone that'll the DJ kind of a like a radio style show where people can sit, chill, hang out. That's it's pretty nice. Definitely gives something for people new to do, especially first coming into Resonite.
Okay. So, may I ask, from the transition between Neos and Resonite, how did you feel about the whole change of everything? Sorry.
Everyone's gonna have their everyone's gonna have their own story.
Oh,
I'm
you picked
everyone
on him.
everyone knows about the big crypto scam that happens in Neos. Um and the big migrates over to Resonites. Me personally, I wasn't affected as much as some people.
Hmm.
But when I joined Resonite, it was a very easy changeover because a lot of the systems they have in there are very similar to what Neos had, but better.
Hmm. Okay. Sorry to ask such a pointed question.
Yeah, no. It's I think that's probably a pretty good question for most of the people that if you continue talking with Resonite players.
Okay. So, what was your first few events and days in Neos like, and how has your first days in Resonate compared to the two?
My first few days in Neos is mostly just getting in there. One of my friends brought me in and got me into an avatar, introduced me with a couple of their friends, and through those friends got me into Elysium, where I started hanging out for my first bits of Neos. I then transferred over to Resonite. We all did. I stayed with Elysium. Excuse me. Stayed with Elysium a little longer until I was let go in a sort of way. And I found myself with the Grand Oasis, which after consistently coming to their karaoke events, they asked me if I wanted to help host, and I accepted.
Okay. Oh.
And the transfer over from Neos to Resonite, like I said, was pretty easy. I didn't even have to do much for my avatars because they have the whole uh, Neos migration system. I'm not sure if it's still active because I know they talked about not using it anymore, but back then it made it very simple for people starting out in Resonite.
Okay. So with the systems itself, like uploading avatars and working on things, I know
Yeah.
Resonite and Neos has something very specific. Do they function the same? How does it feel as like as you as a user?
When it comes to functionality, I feel it's very similar. There are some things that are different, like Logix is now Protoflex, but with the way things work is mostly the same.
Okay. I want to ask a question
I got
because
a
I'm.
question.
Oh,
Well, you could finish. I was just going to say, I was
ask.
just going to ask a question. Knowing that you say you're a host, what enjoyment do you
Yes.
get out of being a host? And what abilities? I'm going to ask you two questions. What you get out of being a host, because I've hosted before in different things. And what setups do you have to go to become where you're going from? God, this is hard to say without making it sound like I'm playing with them, playing with juggling, can't juggle. When you got to be a host, what were the expectations of what they wanted and what you thought you were supposed to be doing? Do you see what I'm getting at? It's like putting in a job application. You got this,
Yeah.
but they had this.
Oh, let's see. What I get out of from being a host is whenever I am doing these events, karaoke especially, I see the enjoyment, something that people would get to do, um, and sing their hearts out. It's how do um, I am having a brain fart right now. I'm sorry.
It's a-okay. Take your time.
Okay, that's
It's
fine. See, I played mind play there, and look what I got. Yeah, I
Quit
got I
making the
started
guests
sometimes.
as confused as you
As
are.
confused as I know as much as I am. Yeah, I didn't help matters none. I passed it on. Sorry, my bad.
as, it's very dance.
Dance?
No. This is I'm trying to think of a word and it's just blank. Uh, heartwarming.
Okay, I got you. I think I
A
understand where
lot
you're
of
coming
a
from.
lot of a lot of people come in towards the end of this the event and they'll say, "Thank you for hosting. Thank you for doing what you do." Um, and that makes me just feel happy inside, and it continues to make me want to do it more. Um,
Okay, okay. Now
and then
the other question. Hopefully, you still understand what I got.
I
I
think
hope.
I still remember essentially like
Okay.
how I got into it, what was
Mm-hmm.
their expectations of me.
Meditations. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, you're right. She
So
did a better job than I did with it. Wow, we should put her on here and let me just stand on the other side. What do you think?
Maybe.
Okay, gotcha.
um so it mostly started out with the original event creator, Gemini. she needed some time off and she was kind of looking someone to help fill in. And I was there. I offered to help. And since she kind of knew me in the back with a little bit of a background and trusted me, they went ahead and they allowed me to start hosting. Setting the world up is pretty simple. I have a server command from a terminal in my Resonite menu. I can start, but it usually auto starts itself. If I have any issues, I go to our other lead creator, Foxbox, and he will. He helps a lot. He does a lot for us.
Okay.
And then that's basically how I became an event host for the Grand Oasis. It wasn't really a whole lot. It was
Okay, I gotcha. Do
Okay.
you see any do you see any difficulties that since you started from where you started as small? Because I know when I started hosting, it was a little nervous wracking and stuff like that. Did you expect anything in between? You know, I know I'm talking in riddles again. I'm talking in
well,
riddles again.
and inspect in between in regards to what?
Well, when you first started being, when I first started to host, I got a little nervous on stage. They just said, be you, have fun, blah, blah, blah. And then when you got it along, you try to make it a little bit more professionally. The nervousness situation is gone. Now you're comfortable. And I don't know if I'm not saying that's the route you went, but I got a little bit comfortable and I got to be myself and had fun up there instead of thinking I had to be a certain way. See what I'm getting at? You had to be a certain way of hosting it and everything
Well, I
else
think
like
I
this. Did you
understand
have
this question. At what point did you feel comfortable hosting, and what was it that made you get used to the nervousness?
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think there
Thank
was a
you.
moment where I was too nervous. Because we did start out somewhat small. I'd say as you know in Resonite, can't really have a whole lot of people in one world without there starting to be some issues. But after the Net 8.0 update, we've been able to up that by double. But when it comes to nervousness, I never really had any. I just continued to act myself. The only thing I really did differently is I try my best to take pictures of every singer that comes in and I post them on our Discord.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I am horrible. I'm sorry.
No,
Nope,
no,
it's
don't
okay.
See, I told you I'm rubbing off on people. Ha 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 ha. Well, I did that to you too, didn't I? Oops. Sorry.
I'm gonna keep my mouth shut.
That's whoa. Hold the phone, not to
Okay.
interrupt. What? That's
me a
new
favor.
one.
Do me a favor. Please, in your head, recite what you just said and ask yourself, why would I not want to say anything?
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Okay.
Feel like there's
Back to
an
you,
inside
Lion.
joke here.
Yeah,
no,
no, it's a
it's
scary one. You don't want to go down that road.
Phrasing.
That's what I'm
I was
getting
just making fun of Raptor because of his phrasing and how he worded his sentence. It was just a joke. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. We pick on each other. That's why we're such good friends and we get along so great. And you probably have people like that too that you click with in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you click to where you're that comfortable with them that you can just let it all out. I don't know if you're that way, but most of the time when you find those people like Lion and other friends that we have in VR and stuff like this, that you can let your hair down or take off the hat, whatever you want to call it, and have fun and be yourself without. Oh, you want mine? I'll give you mine.
I don't think your hat would fit.
Yeah, I know.
You're just big enough to be a hat.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. But back to her instead of us. Go ahead, Line.
You said a question earlier. I forgot some of the names of the objects, but you said in between the two, there were two things that were similar. I had no idea what those were. in terms of like uploading avatars and
Ah,
stuff? May I ask what they are? Because
so
I'm still
it's
dumb asking.
oh, so there is a system that they use to upload avatars. Is usually just grabbing the FBX of the avatar, uploading it in, um, and the system to create the avatar is the same.
Hmm.
And so there wasn't much difference in that.
Okay. Oh,
And then the difference between Logix and Protoflex,
yeah, those two
the
things. What are they?
yes.
That,
So
okay, because I was
Protoflex,
getting lost there for a second. No offense, but what?
Protoflex, it is a node-based um, kind of like programming system. You can set up like I want this ball to change colors whenever someone looks away and looks back. So you would set up a protoflex to say, um, user look at within field of view, stuff
Hmm.
like that. I
Ah,
myself don't understand
it
it.
sounds a lot
I
like the Unity node coding. So it sounds kind of similar to that.
yes, it's pretty similar.
Ah, okay. I can grasp that now. Thank you. Sorry to ask a question like that.
At least you do. I'm still
and
lost, so don't
and
go there.
Hmm.
And that's another thing that a lot of people think that when they hop into Resonate, they have to know how to use it. That is absolutely not the case. Um,
Hmm.
there's plenty of people in there that are willing to help with uploading avatars. And if they already have the avatar base in there, then all they have to do is swap the textures, which is even easier. But no, you absolutely do not have to know Protoflex to be able to have fun in Resonite.
Hmm. So I do have another question as well. What is the first time player experience like in Resonate? And how is that different from like your first time player here in VR chat since you obviously have an account?
I can't say for everyone's experience. I know
Hmm.
myself when I got in, it's basically was introduced to some friends. Those friends introduced me to more friends, uh, and then got me into the groups such as Elysium and now the Grand Oasis.
Hmm.
I would recommend new users just kind of get a hang of how Resonite feels and operates, and then if you need any help, find people with the blue light bulb above their name. Those are mentors, and they are there to help.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, what is a mentor in terms of the blue light bulb and stuff for those who don't know? Because I've only been in
so
Resonate
the
once.
so
Yeah,
that's
same here.
essentially just someone who um, helps new users or even newer people if they have experience in Protoflex. Uh, they go around, help things with basic stuff and uploading avatars, applying textures to avatars, adding um, we call it dynamic bones, but here in the other game it's fizz bones, um,
Ah, we also have some fizz
stuff
bones.
like that.
We haven't used dynamic bones
Yes.
for a while.
But yeah, it's
Oh.
it can be a bit of a learning curve on what you want to do with Resonite,
Hmm.
but it's you finding a group that you hang out with, being able to uh copy a link of your favorite YouTube video and post it up in just in the middle of nowhere and everyone can watch it with you. It adds a form of connection.
Oh. So, may I ask, how would one find groups in Resonate? And yeah, and how does one find groups in Resonate, such as the ones you were with?
I mean, start out with the public worlds with people that are in there. Start out, and then uh, whenever events do come up, you should see it in the main worlds tab. Uh, there's going to be Grand Oasis karaoke. There's there's a couple lounges. There's Elysium, um, and just kind of go in there and have fun and be yourself. I a lot of the people in there are very, well, most of the time adults. We do not experience any and a whole lot of trolls, which is definitely a big benefit, I'd say, over there.
Oh,
Damn,
Because
I
people
can't go
here,
over there. I'm too much of a troll. I can't go over there.
oh.
people hear a public instance and they're immediately is like, oh, I did that here and I did that in BRC and I can't do that. It is a lot different over there. It is nowhere near as bad.
Hmm. Okay. So, with that being said, Mask, what are some of your favorite memories with the groups you're with and in Resonate in general?
Let's see. When I was with Elysium, we had a few like holiday events. Sir Lucian absolutely loved Halloween. There was one year where we spruced up the entire building in kind of like a Silent Hill esque environment. And that was it
Hmm.
was awesome. Both Sir Lucian and a few of his crew got the whole world looking really nice and uh, and then with the Grand Oasis, um, a lot of the funny jokes that we've had. Like we know Gemini absolutely despises "All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey. She literally has a rule saying it cannot be sung until after December 1st. In
Makes
fact,
sense.
last year, Foxbox, a few others, and I got the idea of putting just a 2D picture of Mariah Carey coming out of a block of ice, just somewhere in the middle of the world, and we decided to put like a very quiet audio of just I, and
Mm.
we were betting on how long it was going to take for Gemini to notice, and she didn't notice until after New Year's when we released the information to everybody.
Wow.
Oh.
Hmm.
That was really fun.
So, what keeps you hosting and staying in Resonate this long?
I am more comfortable in Resonate, I could say. Definitely have a lot more friends, people that I connect with over there. Um, and then of course hosting the karaoke events. Uh, Seeing everyone come in and saying hi, giving hugs. It's nice and heartwarming.
Okay. Oh.
I got one for
Yeah, what's up?
when like here compared to with Resonate and everything else. Do they have a world cap where they have problems or anything like that? In that situation, can you cram them in like you're cramming in
So,
sardines, or do you have after you get so much, you're going, oh shit, here it goes.
so Resonite operates a little bit different when it comes to world hosting, and I'm not talking like someone hosting an event. Someone hosting a world is completely different. Um, Whenever they're hosting their own world, their home world, or anything of that sort, Resonite hosts that world on the computer of that host. So the amount of people that can be in that world heavily depends on that host's computer and their network. On
And
average, I can see anywhere between usually around 10 people, and then a world that is being hosted by what's called a headless, which is a kind of like a computer that all that information it gets is just world information. Uh, I've seen those worlds get up to the almost 40 people, which is actually a pretty big number for Resonite.
Okay. I gotcha.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Thanks for sharing. I had no idea Resonite would host instances on a person's computer. I'm sure.
Yep.
Oh, how is that for like someone else's performance? Like if Raptor was hosting the instance for you, would it still depend? Like your performance would depend on his computer?
Essentially. But the only thing I'm taking from your computer is the information it is sending out from your world and what you have uploaded into it. And then I'm waiting for my computer to receive that information and then for me to be able to see and react with it.
Mm.
Um,
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Stay
Ooh.
out of my computer.
No. So I have a question for your karaoke events and other stuff like that. If you have a bunch of people who's interested in going, do you guys just have like multiple hosts for that event? How do you guys do
so
large?
we've only had to do it 2 times where we have reached our max number of people, which is usually around 30 to 40 people. We will open a second instance, but usually that second instance is short-lived to the point where we'll go back to the original, because
Mm.
everyone wants to be in the instance with more people.
We've heard from a bunch of people who run events here in VR Chat's the exact same. You can have as many overflows as you want, but people still want to be in the original instance.
Yeah, very much so. Everybody
Ooh.
drives the nail to get into that first one because they think that's where all the excitement, and it is. It is. I can see that. Makes
Mm.
sense.
Okay. So, with that being said, how long did it take you to transfer over to Resonite Mask after everything happened? Did you go immediately? Did you wait?
It was pretty immediately. There was a couple of memes of people that had early access to Resonite, so I was still stuck on Neos for a little bit. And there is the meme of like a Squidward looking out his window, and it'll say Neos users, and then down there you'll see SpongeBob and Patrick playing. It'll say Resonite users. As I connected with that meme for a short while, but then I got my chance to get in, and it, like I said, it was same day. I had everything set up and ready to go same day.
Oh, wow. Ooh, well,
Nice.
thank you for explaining that. Now, are there a lot of
Mhm.
groups over in Resonite doing stuff similar to what you do or various things, Mask?
I want to say there's a few. I know there's the Grand Oasis. I know a lot of people like hanging out in the resync worlds, which is
Mm.
basically low poly worlds that people have an easy time loading into, and they'll just kind of sit, hang out, and spawn memes and do stuff. But when it comes to actual like events, I know there's a few. I just can't think of their names right now. But
Okay. Ooh, I have
yeah,
another question, well, based on something you said earlier. You said
yeah,
spawning YouTube links and stuff. I believe Resonite
yes.
has a prop system, or you can just drop things and stuff like that. How does the stuff drop? Does that also drop on the same host computer? And how does that work for you as a user, like when you're using it? I ask.
So, let's say, for example, he's hosting. Am I dropping the item or is he?
You.
So that would mean that I would drop the item. The item would then need to be received from his computer, computer to receive it, and then to send it back to me to for it
Mm.
to be fully operational. But it's usually very quick.
Mm.
I I know I tend to over explain things and I may not be
Oh
explaining it
no, how
right even.
terrible. We get to understand things.
I'm just explaining it to the best of my ability to
You're
how
doing
I
wonderful.
receive it. So I might be I
You
might be wrong on some things, but um as soon as the item is loaded, dropped from either one of our inventories, that item is usually fully interactable with anyone in that world.
Hmm.
Um, so I know a lot of people like bringing up their uh, toy guns and they do funny things. One of them takes pictures, one of them shoots water. Someone decided to do a funny and create a handgun, which is like this paper gun that when you shoot it, it has an imprint of a hand. So it's their handgun. um, and all these things are created within Resonite.
Oh,
It's
that's awesome.
yeah.
Yeah.
They also have this very large group called MMC where they host a annual MMC events where a bunch of creators get together and create worlds, items, memes, and it's just a really fun time that everyone with the creative aspect can get together and uh, do things. People vote on them, and uh, they get posted up on the Resonite Worlds tab. It's pretty cool.
Ooh. So does the Resonite host a lot of events like that in general?
I'm not sure if Resonite themselves, MMC is kind of like their own thing.
Ah,
Yeah,
okay. My misunderstanding. I'm sorry.
no, it's okay. Like I said, I tend to make things sound confusing than they actually are.
Mm. Okay, so I have another question. How did you find VR chat, and how does your experience here as a player compare to your time over in Resonate?
So before I was introduced into Neos, I had a small time. It's like, you know what? I hear a lot of my friends talking about this VRC. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll go check it out. And so I'm going in on my laptop in desktop mode because I didn't have a headset at the time. I go in, I join a random world, pop into an avatar, and like nobody's talking to me. Everyone's out over doing their own thing. It's really hard for me to associate with a lot of the people that were in there because it didn't feel very inviting.
Mm.
But the first time I was in Neos and that transferred into Resonite, it was the opposite. Even as a desktop user, it was people saying, "Hey, how are you doing?" Being welcomed into spaces, making friends very easily, and it definitely has a much more an approachable. How do you put?
Environment.
And there we go. A much more approachable environment. It's. I'm sorry. I'm horrible.
You're not horrible at all.
Oh, you're fine.
We as
You're
VR chat
fine.
users, like when I came in here, it was the exact opposite years ago. So since I've only been here like 4 years now, but the public environment's changed from when I was there, and I'm sure I have no idea. I don't really go into publics much anymore unless I know people, so I don't know. So if you say these things, it's news to us, at least me.
Mm.
Well, this was back. What is it? 2017. I think is when
Ah,
they first
before my
tried
time.
VRC. Yeah, it did. Yeah. Um. Yeah, I went to Resonite or Neos at the time. Got my first headset. Got very comfortable. Got my VR goggles very quickly, and then that kind of got me into VRC because I had a headset. I already had friends from Resonite who were in VRC, and that's how I kind of got pulled back into VRC with the friends from Resonite. Uh, and I was in VRC for quite a bit with the falling out from Neos um,
Mm.
until I was able to get myself into Resonite.
Ah, okay. So how long have you been using VR and been in the VR ecosystem?
You're gonna have me pull up my hours.
Not hours, but no, like when did you first get a headset? How long have you been using VR? Not like how many hours in VR.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So Resonite calls it their bread day, and we actually just looked it up. Mine is on the, I mean, 16th. So this upcoming Friday will be my bread day, and that would have been 2021. Um, bread day is just your Resonite birthday, essentially, Reniversary. Um,
Oh.
but yes, since 2021, I've had my headset. Funny thing, I got my headset through a points system at my work, so I didn't even have to pay for it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, that's
Well,
nice.
so how does your Resonite birthday, how did that be called Bread Day?
It's been called that since before me. That's something that I feel like only Fruxius can answer. Um,
Ah.
if you don't know, is the creator of Resonite, and I know that my very first bread day, all it is really is that above your name you have a bunch of badges, and on your bread day you have literally just a loaf of bread with a candle on it.
Okay, that's interesting. I had no idea. I never. Oh,
That's different.
it is very different,
So
actually. I think it's cool.
it's okay until somebody tries to blow it out.
Mm. Oh, alrighty. So, with that being said, you used VRChat back in 2017. So, were you playing Neos on desktop as well?
No. So I didn't even know of Neos back when I tried to play VRC back then. And like I said, I was probably only in VRC for 20 minutes.
Mm.
Didn't connect with it very well, logged off, deleted the game, and didn't play it until I was invited by other Neos friends.
Ah, okay.
Okay,
Oh,
makes sense.
so may I ask as well, what have been some of your favorite events through the groups you host at right now?
Right now,
Hmm.
my karaoke events, of course.
Yeah.
Um, like I said, I host them every week. Other events, let's see. MMC is really fun, especially towards the end during the voting phase where you're going into every single one of these worlds. Someone managed this recently. Someone managed to create the Enigma machine. If you know what
Mm.
that is like a German deciphering messaging system, and
Mm.
recreated that thing in Resonite, which was absolutely mind-boggling. It was awesome to see.
Oh, holy shit! Oh my God! If you know any history about that, that thing was built in a barn. Are you talking the small one or the big one?
I
The
don't
Enigma
know.
machine.
I don't know it very much. All I know is that it's a German encryption messaging system that was
Yeah,
used in the World Wars. Yeah.
yeah. Well, when they first had it, they first made it and everything. And if I'm not correct, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But Germany had one where it was small, and United States, not United States, better take that back. It wasn't the United States. They tried to make one, a guy made one to try to understand it when it was, they were sending messages and how to do it and everything else. What a mess. They even made a movie of it. It was, oh,
Yeah.
wow. But if it's the big one that they tried to, not the small one, but the big one, that thing was huge. It fit in a barn. My gosh, that had
It
to be
must have been the
monster.
small one though,
Yeah, with the
because it
Germany,
was
it had to be the German one that they made, and the encrypt it'd be where it not okay. Yeah, I'm going. Well, that's crazy. That's still either way is crazy. I don't care what you call it. That's crazy, man.
I just think it's amazing that someone took such a complex machine that someone even had a hard time creating a software on a computer to decipher it, and someone created it using protoflux and Resonite.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts.
That is.
I agree with you there.
Ooh.
Wow.
So I do have a question here. We do have some karaoke worlds here. How do you guys do karaoke in Resonate? Do you guys have like a space where there's like a boosted volume and then a media player that plays the thing you read off of? How does it work over in Resonate?
So the way we run our karaoke events is we have a queue system where all that is to keep a line for everyone. So that way this person goes first, next, 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 and so on. When you go up to stage, everyone literally just uses YouTube links. We find the karaoke version or even just a regular song off of YouTube. We copy the URL, paste it in the podium, and it plays kind of similar to like a video player here.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know. Well, we'll ask the last couple of questions before we start wrapping up, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, the name you use, the screen name, where'd it come
Yes.
from, and why do you still use it?
Back when I was in high school, I was hanging out with a couple of girlfriends, and they were reading this manga called Fruits Basket. And they decided to get their few of their friends and name their friends based off of the characters in the book, based off of our personalities. I ended up with Shigure, and it just kind of stuck ever since. I just used it, and it's
Okay. Ooh.
Wow. Wait a minute. I gotta ask this. So you had a friend that went. Wow. Can you imagine the different fruits out there, and you're naming people by their personalities? That's crazy. That's freaking crazy. That's
Raptor,
like naming
Fruits
them
Basket
after
is an anime. Fruits Basket is an anime.
yes, it's a
not an
manga.
actual fruit basket.
Oh, okay. I was going, okay. I'm going, my brain's going like, holy criminy, by their personality. Well, you're an apple.
You're a banana.
You know, be like, no, I'm not. What do you think? I'm a nut. I'm not a banana. That's not a fruit.
Wait.
What are you talking about?
Isn't that a
What?
fruit?
Is
Cashew's
another
a fruit.
Cashew's a fruit, yes.
Yeah.
That's only one. Never mind. Keep going. We'd be. Never mind. Never
Well,
mind.
and the avatar you use, why do you use it, and is there anything about it that means anything to you?
I really fell in love with the kit box by the way it looks.
Hmm.
I felt like it fit the personality that I portray. For the longest time, I used the standard, the texture, and then I sent a lot of my old avatars to a close friend of mine, and they created the current texture you see now based off of my prior avatars. And so I just see this as an extension of myself. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Shigure, for taking the time and allow us to get to know
Yeah.
you and what you do. It's much appreciated.
Yes, very. So much. We appreciate it.
yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not the best at explanation.
No, you did perfectly
Lot of
fine. Don't worry about it.
spacey.
If you're worried about that, I have problems just pronouncing and trying to get it out there. So I guess we're both just put your fingers in the hole in the boat so it don't sink. That's the safest way.
Oh.
Why'd you? Whoa! Why'd you look down for? We're not in a boat.
I don't know.
Oh, okay. Just thought to ask because maybe I'm seeing things. I'm going. What is she sitting in that I don't see? That it's VR. Anything's possible.
How long do you want to wait before you tell them we're actually in a boat?
Wait, this whole world is a boat?
No, it's not.
Really?
I was being funny.
Holy.
Oh.
Holy crap.
Well, with that being said, if the audience wishes to reach
Mhm.
out and find you, where can they go?
Well, you can easily find me in Resonite under Shigure Fox. I do have a Twitch, Shigure_Fox. That's about it at the moment. Haven't really had a reason to have any other platforms. Slowly started a TikTok under the same name. And you'll know it's me because you'll see a picture of my face. Um,
Oh, well, with that being said, thank you very much. We'll have all those links for you to click down in the
Yes.
description. If you're on YouTube, just scroll down a bit, hit the description, hit show more. We have a section labeled guest links, be right there for you to find. If you're on Spotify, be under the same label, but over in the episode description for you to find. So one easy place for you. And then for the question, we'll ask you, the honest member, what was your first time in VR like? Did you, if you're in VR chat, did you go to a black cat or a great pug? What is your first time in Resonite if you're from Resonite? We'd like to know that as well. Tell us down below. We'll read it and respond to it. And as always, Mr. Raptor, you know the thing.
Yeah, no matter what, folks, and thank you, sir. No matter what your situation in here, might be in a boat, might be on, I guess we're on an island, and everything in situation, no matter what, I always think that where you go or how you work and the people you meet in here from one system to another, no matter who they are, always say hi, always tell them hello, and if you get bored, stick your finger in the hole just in case the boat sinks. We'll talk to you later. Bye. I was an adventurer once till I took an arrow to the knee. Howie. It hurts so bad. Mom! Mom, I took an arrow to the knee. I was an adventurer. What happened, Mom? Damn, Mom's not home. Mom's not home. I forgot the key, and there's no mat to put it under. Maybe it's under here. Maybe she put it under melted the bitch in the fire. Well, that hurts. God, I'm a loner. Ventura is my situation. When you take an arrow to the knee. But too bad it didn't hit me in between the toes. But it made me loopy, though. Are you a hook on? Oh, wow. I know. I'm not even at the right house. That's why.